And thanks all of you. You have come to listen me on Saturday morning. So uh, I'm going to talk you about the core talks, and I did my PhD from IIT Bombay, and it is like an interaction. Not don't take it as a GAN. So whatever my opinion is there. That is my view. So you take it with the pinch of salt. So first, I would like to briefly tell you about my story so that you will have a different perspective. So basically, I am from village Charan in Shawwadi Taluka of Kolhapur district. I received scholarships throughout my academic career, and I am from a middle class family. So my basic degree is in civil engineering. So many of you might have heard about Walchand College of Engineering, Sangli. So in the good old days, the number of engineering colleges were very few. In the entire state of Maharashtra, there were just 7 engineering colleges. So at that time, the moment you get admission to engineering college means your career is made. There is no point in looking back. So that was the time because number of engineers were very less. And now, of course, the picture has changed, and there are more than 350 engineering colleges all over Maharashtra state, and engineers are finding it difficult to get placed. So that was in 1985. So that time I chose civil engineering. I could choose any branch: mechanical, civil, electrical. That time only 3 branches were there: civil, mechanical, and electrical. And I was having such a score that I could select any branch. But I chose civil engineering because there was wider scope available. For example, you can enter into government service and take a secure job, or you can start your own business with very less capital. You can become a contractor, you can join a teaching job. So many options were there that were unique to only civil engineering. In mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, you could not start your own business, you require huge capital. So that was my thinking, why I choose civil engineering. I didn't have any particular passion for civil engineering. Okay, so the word passion is very important. But of course, when I went to the final year of civil engineering, then I chose electives in the subject of environmental engineering. Now, that is because of the passion. In my entire class of 60 students, 50 students opted for structural engineering subjects. But I took a decision that okay, I don't have very much passion for that. I have passion for environmental engineering. I want to do something good for the environment. So that decision was made on the basis of passion. Then I got good GATE score and I got admission to VZTI Mumbai. And there again I chose environmental engineering for my postgraduate studies. So that was 1987. Then 1 year I worked in an industry pollution control company. But frankly, I didn't enjoy that work because frankly, I don't like 9:30 to 5:30 job, go to the office, sit in a cabin, some boss will be observing you and you have to work for 8 hours. No, that was not my passion. And of course, that time, environmental engineering, pollution control, these fields were rudimentary. There was not much scope also. So considering that, I joined teaching. So I joined a government aided college. Basically, I feel that I am comfortable in communication, and I enjoyed the nature of job because you have to study whatever portion you have studied for your BTech program, the same things you have to teach. So there is optimization about the time spent. Of course, the pay scales are continuously improving. When I just joined, the pay scales were not that good in teaching, but now they are very good. And then I got promotions very fast because I was at that time, people joining in teaching with postgraduate degree and 1 year industry experience were very less, and that was the minimum requirement. So I became assistant professor, associate professor, professor very fast. At the age of 37 I became professor. So that was good also and bad also, because in government IIT, of course, promotions are fast, but government engineering colleges, many people join as a lecturer, join as an assistant professor, and retire also as assistant professor. because very few vacancies are there at top. Why bad? Because there were offers to me from IIT, Indian Institute of Science, also Bangalore, but they wanted to join me at a lowest post, that is assistant professor. So if I want to go to IIT or Indian Institute of Science, I have to join there as an assistant professor when I was having professor's post. So therefore, it is bad also in that respect. And because of my age, I could become AICT expert because I was having higher post. uh, I was hired as expert by All India Council for Technical Education, and I was one of the youngest professors in that team of very senior professors, which would go for accreditation of engineering colleges all over India. Another good thing about teaching assignments is that you can get side by side consultancy assignments, and this is very used in IITs, for example. And as I was talking with Rushil, now there are around 26 IITs. So all these government agencies, maybe state government, central government, they are very comfortable if they assign a particular consultancy job to IITs, because IITs is a brand. So you get a lot of consultancy assignments if you join teaching positions at NITs or even NITs, National Institute of Technologies. So during this job in a government-aided college as a professor, I was selected for PhD at IIT Bombay under QIP program. So for QIP program, all professors from institutes like National Institute of Technologies, they opt, and there are limited seats. So there was one seat in IIT Bombay, and for which 13 professors from NITs were applying, and I was fortunate enough to get that post on scholarship. So this is a double advantage, because in QIP program you get your salary also, and you get additional stipend, you get good accommodation in IITs, so there is no tension, and you can do a quality research. And when I joined IIT Bombay, my research work started, and that time I was thinking whether, when I was in BTech, whether I would publish such complicated research papers and all that. But when you join IIT, that is not a big thing, and I could learn publications in prestigious journals thanks to the support and guidance which I received from my guides and my professors at IIT Bombay, like Professor R.S. Patil, Professor Shyam Asolekar, and others. Then at 1998 at 2009, I got offer from ITM group of institutions. So now, then I joined administrative post as a director, and there were 4 engineering colleges under me, and it was a corporate culture, and I could enjoy this job because it is a different atmosphere altogether. So there used to be budgets in the beginning. You have to track, and in these 4 engineering colleges, how many number of students will take admissions, because the entire viability depends on the admissions in the private sector. So this institute was in the private sector, and you have budget, you have HR, you have finance, you have marketing. So unless number of students will get admit, your financial viability will be in question, and that is a very good thing, because in government jobs you don't have to worry about admissions, and still government engineering colleges are most sought after by the students. So admissions is not a problem, but that is not so in the corporate sector. Of course, there are advantages of corporate structure, because corporate structure there is no such thing as pay scales. Pay scales are very good, and the rise you get in corporate sector is very high, that you can't imagine in the government type of jobs. So, but of course, may it be corporate, may it the government, it's a job, it's a service. You have to work under bosses. So many people like that, many people are not comfortable with that also. So that you have to keep in mind. So I will say that, like corporate, any job is like a animal in zoo. So that is job, that is nokri ultimately. And enterprise, your own business, is like you are in jungle. So there are excitements, there is no limit, but at the same time there are very high risks. So these are the pros and cons of jobs versus entrepreneurship. Then when I become financially comfortable in the year 2017, the stage came that I no longer depend on the business for survival. I decided to quit job and start my own company. So when I was in engineering college, we used to call, people from banks and corporate sectors, whether students should go to do business or they should do jobs. So those corporate people at that time also, they advised us कि you start business at such time when you no longer are dependent on the money from your business. So then only you take that risk. Of course, nowadays the picture has changed. There is venture capital. There are people who are ready to invest money. But of course, there is risk. And if one enterprise is successful, there are 7, 8 enterprises which are failure also. So both pros and cons are there. So entrepreneurship, I joined my own family company, Prachi Services Inc. as director. So this firm provides services in water treatment, solid waste management, wastewater treatment, and has developed software for design of water treatment plant, effluent treatment plant, sewerage systems, etc. So we provide training also, and it gives great satisfaction to me. When I was working, when I was having job, I was looking at first date of a month when my salary comes, and now it is the other way around. Now 10, 15 people are looking at me when our salaries will be released. So that gives you immense satisfaction that you are supporting 10, 15 families. Then of course, due to this all these jobs, all my career so far, I got opportunities to visit countries like USA, UK, Germany, Australia, UAE, Argentina, etc. to present my research paper, to forge collaborations with other engineering institutes in universities in US, UK, Australia, etc. So that was about my story. You can take what you want. You you can reject also what you don't like. That is your call. So next slide, please. Okay. So general tips first. First, I will give you some general tips about your career, and then we'll go to the specifics. So when Rushil sent me those forms, I found that many of you are worried what is there for environmental engineering sector. But take it from me, don't worry at all. IIT Bombay is a big brand, bigger than you think, and every one of you have bright future. Now you understand your passion and aptitude, and then select your career accordingly. What exactly you are? What is your personality? And mind me, you many of you are not knowing what exactly you are. It takes time to understand yourself. So there are three personalities. One personality is what you think you are. The another personality of you is what the world thinks about you. And and your third personality is what you actually are. So when these three personalities match, then the chances of your success increase. Again, don't think too much. So don't worry about your future. Enjoy life, because the most important thing is in life is that you are alive, and whatever is there surrounding you, you take joy from that. And sometimes destiny makes good decisions for yourself. Don't try to make your own decisions all the time. Sometimes it is the other way around. So nobody would have imagined that there will be COVID in March 2020 and so many things will happen. So there are very little things which you can control. Only some things you can control. So don't worry too much, and give priority to health. That is the most important thing. Diet, regular exercises, and physical fitness. So that is the most important thing. Sar salamat to pagdi pacha. So health is very important. And and last, you should be ambitious. Your dream should be big. So dream big. So these are the general tips. Then next, your career should be according to your inspiration. What is your inspiration? So first we will discuss about the general, which includes non-core jobs also. So some people want power, or the other way is public service. So they want to serve the society, or they want to be kings. So for them, UPSC civil services is a very good option. You can crack examinations like IAS, Indian Administrative Service, Indian Foreign Service, Indian Police Service, And there are many successful examples. Arvind Kejriwal, he is also a product from IIT Kharagpur, and now he's Chief Minister of Delhi. So there are many secretaries at central government, state government. There is Durga Shankar Mishra, who is a product of IIT Kanpur, and he is now secretary for the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, and streamlining this Swachh Bharat missions and all that. So that is also a very good option. But some people are interested in money only, and there is nothing wrong about that. So I may not be interested in money to that extent. Of course, money is important, but some students are really interested in money. They will say at the end of the day, how much money I will be getting. No problem. I interacted with many IIT students in the past. They were telling me every month I should get at least 3 to 4 lakhs rupees, and then I will select career accordingly. Which company, which sector gives me those salaries. So maybe finance sector if finance sector gives me those salaries, I will go to finance. I'll forget about environmental engineering. So there are companies like Standard Chartered Bank, maybe, I don't know. There may be corporates. So they may join those corporates in the finance sector, which will give those salaries. So for that, you may, after IIT, after BTech, you can go for MBA from IIMs, and you can easily switch over these sectors, finance sectors, even IT sectors, offer good salaries. So that is a non-core sector. Then again, if you are not again interested in just 3-4 lakhs rupees per month, you want to become crorepati, like my turnover should be 100 crore per annum, 200 crore per annum, unicorn, then go for entrepreneurship. But of course, please know, it's a big risk. Good examples are Nandan Nilekani. He's also from IIT Bombay, and he's now CEO of Infosys. Bhavin Agarwal, he's the founder of Ola, and they are unicorns, and how much money they're earning, thousands of crores of rupees. But there is risk also. See, you are seeing the successful enterprises. There are many enterprises which could not be successful, and they have to go through a long struggle in the beginning. When Nandan might have joined Infosys, his friends might have got salaries 3 to 4 times his salaries. Maybe, I don't know exactly, but maybe his wife may be saying, or some other family members to other entrepreneurs may say, your friends are getting so much salaries, and what you are doing, whether your enterprise will become successful or not. So if you are prepared to go through that struggle, go through that stress, then only you should go for entrepreneurship. Or you are financially stable otherwise, then also you can go for entrepreneurship. Because in India, the number of enterprises are very less. You go to China, you go to US, hundreds of unicorn companies are there, but in India, you can just count them on your fingers. So it means that there is scope. So you should not be gloomy. It means that we are a country of 130 crore people. The many number of enterprises are still viable, but somebody should take that risk. So that is about big money. Another inspiration will be knowledge. So like our Bhagavad Gita says, there are various yogas like Karma Yoga, Raja Yoga, then Dhyana Yoga. So when Arjuna asked Krishna, which yoga is the superior most among all these yogas? So Krishna told Arjuna, the most superior yoga is the Jnana Yoga. Knowledge is the most important thing. So many students may have that inspiration also. So they can go to core jobs. So they will design water treatment plants, sewage treatment plants, write sustainability reports for corporates. So that is the people who are really interested in knowledge and nothing else. Or even they can go for teaching. Like I told, they can join teaching at IITs, NITs, or even abroad. So many of IITs, many IIT BTech students, they are doing teaching jobs in US universities. So BTech mechanical engineering from IIT Bombay, but now teaching Dean engineering in University of St. Louis. People are like that, and that is again a prestigious post with attractive remuneration also. So these are the various inspirations, and you should select your job accordingly. Then core jobs, like that's what you want to learn from this lecture. What are the core jobs? And my advice to IITians is that if they opt for core jobs, they should go for corporates, where the organizations are structured, remunerations are good, and they will enjoy working there. So what are the different fields available for core jobs? Environmental management and sustainability is gaining more and more importance. So nowadays, YouTube is there. There are many videos. All the big Fortune 500 company CEOs, they are talking about this environmental and management and sustainability. How their organization is investing in these fields. They hire top people for these positions. If you have time, go and listen to the speeches of Indra Nui, who was the CEO of Pepsi, and see how much importance Pepsi is giving for sustainability. They have even changed their products so that instead of soft drinks, they are now switching over to health products, oats, and many others. So uh, these are the jobs which are not only good, give you satisfaction, but will give you very good packages and satisfaction as well. And as I told, there are excellent openings in multinationals like Pepsi, Amazon. Now, Amazon has planned after some particular year, 5 years or 6 years, the company will become carbon neutral. That is, they will not consume any energy from conventional electricity which is generated from fossil fuels. So they will use renewable energy. Shell is another oil company which is investing a lot on sustainable development and environment. There are Indian corporates like Tata's, Infosys, Mahindra, Godrej, ITC. They are doing a lot on environment. They spend crores of rupees on writing sustainable reports for their industries. And these corporates offer very good packages. Godrej, for example, they're coming out with green buildings. And then these buildings, all their buildings are green buildings. So naturally, they require experts who are good in environment, who are good in energy. Then these companies in environmental core sector, they are also doing very good on the stock exchange. For example, look at companies like Ion Exchange. They are delivering solutions in water treatment, wastewater treatment, solid waste management. Thermax, for example, Thermax based in Pune, doing very good job in environmental engineering core sector. ECC, which is a product of L&T, based in Chennai, doing very good and big projects in environment. So all these companies, they offer very good opportunities for IITians like you who are pursuing their education in environmental science and engineering. Then core multinational companies in environmental sector, for example, Veolia is there, based in is a French origin company. Black and Wedge, which is US based company. Montgomery, Harza Watson, then Jacobs. They are doing really exceptional work, and they offer jobs worldwide. So again, Suez is another company which is coming into effluent treatment, membranes, MBR technology. So very aggressive in Indian market. So there are these companies which offer very good opportunities in multinational corporate sectors. And mind me, corporates prefer IITs first. So you will be their first choice. So far they were picking MTech students because BTech program in environmental science and engineering is not there. Now they have got additional options that they can go pick up MTech BTech students from environmental science and engineering. So we have seen core sector, core jobs. Now there are many students from your department who are pursuing MTech and PhD programs. So let us see what is the potential for them. So earlier, MTech was the minimum degree for environmental specialization. So BTech, as I was discussing with you people, environmental science and engineering department, the first batch is also not yet out. So it is a recent phenomenon. So we are all eager to know how the industry and corporate take. But as I told, IITians are the first choice, and IIT Bombay is again the first rank amongst all the IITs. So your prospects are really very bright. And Mumbai is the heart of the corporate sector. If you find the per capita wealth, Mumbai has got the highest wealth amongst the entire world, not only country but amongst the entire world. So the chances of you, because IIT Bombay is located in Mumbai, brighten further. With large number of IITs and NITs, potential for teaching jobs has increased. In teaching jobs, PhD is mandatory, and of course, postdoc is desirable. For example, my friend who was doing PhD at that time, he did later on postdoc from Singapore, and now he's working as professor in IIT Delhi. So they prefer some small assignments. It is a further small research assignments of 1 or 2 years. That is called postdoc. So you can do in Germany, you can do in Singapore, etc. So then you land up in good jobs as teaching position in IITs. And of course, your research publications should be of very good value. Now, as I was discussing, nowadays salaries in teaching jobs are very attractive. Once upon a time in Bollywood movies, we used to say that the hero, he's a big person and he goes to teacher who is a poor teacher, and still he respects that teacher. So no more. Actually, nowadays teachers' salaries are not like those old salaries, and they are doing good job. Uh, so and as I told, scope to earn additional money through consultancy assignments is huge, particularly in IITs. As I was telling, ki all the government institutes, public sector, they prefer to give consultancy assignments to IITs. Sometimes IITs have to tell these people, we don't have enough time to do these consultancy jobs. You assign these jobs to some other institutes. So that is the quantum of work, consultancy works the IITs are getting, and opportunities for foreign research assignments. So many my friends, they are in IIT Kharagpur, IIT Delhi. They frequently go to countries like France, countries in Europe, to do collaborative research work with those professors. So it's a very good thing. Now, many BTech IITians, as I was discussing, they're occupying high teaching positions such as dean in US universities. So there also, if you go to US, pursue your MTech from US, PhD from US, the potential to get jobs in US universities, and number of US universities, the way they are matured, there it is very high. They're very old universities. When I'm visiting US universities, I was telling proudly that our IIT, you started in the year 1962, such an old institute. Then when I was asked when your university started, sir, 1785. So I used to be embarrassed how old these universities are. Purdue University, for example, the first person to go on moon, Neil Armstrong, was from Purdue University. His statue is there. So such old universities are there in US, and it is you will enjoy doing research in US universities. So that was about the potential for higher education. Entrepreneurship, yes, we already discussed. Again, we will discuss. See, India is a very big country of 130 crore people, and there is huge scope for entrepreneurship. The number of unicorns, like there, Baiju is there. There are many unicorns. Ola is there. So like $1 billion turnover, but they are very less. Still, India can afford. Many enterprises are viable. You go to US and China, hundreds of them are there. That compared to our population is, after some years we will become the first most populous country in the world, and economy is opening up, financial inclusion is there. So there is big scope for entrepreneurship. So what sectors you can start your entrepreneurship? You can start consultancy assignments, giving consultancy assignments maybe in green building, water treatment, environmental engineering, sustainable development, turnkey contracts. So many people want, I just don't enjoy writing reports and all that. I actually want to execute those jobs. Go for turnkey contracts, say ECC, for example, Hindustan Construction Company, then uh, Ion Exchange. These are some very big contractors. Manufacturing, you can have your products for Kent water purifier, Eureka Forbes. They are into products which are in the field of environmental engineering. Training. So sometime back, giving tuitions was supposed to be a low paying job, and now you see the companies like Baiju. What is their product? They are giving tuitions to the high school students, and it is a unicorn. People from all over the world are investing in Baiju. So scale is very important in India, and therefore it is good for an IT products also you can have. Then what are the different areas? They are solid waste management, water treatment, wastewater treatment, sustainable development, green buildings, environmental compliance, EIA, etc. So in environmental engineering, so when you can get jobs, like you have to prove that uh, your customer will get big money, then you will get jobs. He will save his money or you will get money. And then other jobs are created in compliance. You are not going to get anything, but you follow certain law. You have to do it because you have to follow certain law. That is compliance. So in the first sector, the potential of getting jobs in is more. For example, water treatment. Water is a necessity. Unless you get good quality potable water, you will not survive. You'll feel sick. So water treatment definitely the potential of getting jobs and customers is very high. On the other hand, compliance. Now in Indian system, the compliance is not uh, that strict. If you go to US and Europe, the first people have to construct the effluent treatment plant, septic tank, and then they have to start constructing their own building. In India, it is the other way around. First, the person will have his own palatial bungalow, and then he will think whether septic tank is necessary, whether sewage treatment plant is necessary. He feels that the expenditure which is incurred on operating the sewage treatment plant is just, you know, uh, wasteful expenditure. So that is the attitude, unfortunately, and therefore the scope in this sector is slightly limited. Or so weak compliance, weak enforcement. So that is harming to some extent the prospects for environmental engineering. But as I told you, in corporate sector there is big scope nowadays, and then sometimes if the compliance is observed strictly, uh, corporates land up incurring huge losses. For example, there is a Lavasa housing project near Pune. It incurred huge losses because they ignored this environmental compliance process. And then the CEO, Mr. Gulabchand, feel that yes, this environmental compliance is a very important field, and it is worth hiring good guys in this particular field. Then who are the customers for environmental sector? Government is the big customer, corporates, industry, all industries, particularly chemical industries, they have to construct effluent treatment plants. You go to Gujarat, go to areas like Ankaleshwar, all industries are chemical industries. Many other uh, industrial development corporation areas in Gujarat, Goa, there are chemical industries and they require services of environmental consultants. Housing societies, now solid waste management, Municipal Corporation of Greater Mumbai, they said that if you have more than 100 flats, you should have your own system to treat your solid waste. So this again opened many number of jobs for entrepreneurs. Now future for environmental core sector. So now I think we'll wind up fast because I think you are more interested in question answers. So just last two slides. So water is essential for life, and this sector will always be in demand. So Kent, Ion Exchange, Eureka Force doing exceptionally good, and so true is for air. You have only same air. So companies who are manufacturing products for air, like air purifiers, particularly in cities like Delhi, they're sold in like hotcakes. Certain sectors like solid waste management, wastewater treatment depend on government policy. Now, when plastic ban was enforced, strictly biodegradable plastic was in demand. But now when the enforcement has become weaker, again, nobody is asking for those biodegradable plastic products. Contracts are decided by the government and the process is many times slow and unpredictable. So this is slightly negative thing. And for engineers working in core sector, there is steady growth. For example, if you start designing water treatment plants, sewage treatment plants, your salaries will not increase like those in IT sector and finance sector in the beginning. But as you go on acquiring more and more experience, your demand will be very high, and you will get unimaginable uh, packages when you mature. But you should have that patience, and of course you get great satisfaction. Because, for example, APJ Abdul Kalam, so you remember what satisfaction. Dr. UR Rao, Dr. Vikram Sarabhai, Dr. Homi Jahangir Bhabha, they worked in core sectors throughout their life, and see what recognition they have got now. So many of their colleagues might have acquired bigger wealth, but what about recognition? So that satisfaction is unmatchable. So then enforcement is, as I told, in India the enforcement is weak, and therefore this affects the prospects of manpower in the field of environmental engineering to some extent. Then many students ask me in their forms, what skills should be required? So friends, you require interdisciplinary skills nowadays, because you will feel that, okay, now I'm BTech in environmental science and engineering, so I should be only expert in those areas, no core areas, maybe water treatment plant, effluent treatment plant, sustainability report, environmental impact assessment, air quality modeling. Okay, they are important, but suppose, for example, you have to implement one, execute the project of water treatment plant, you must be also knowing about mechanical engineering, how the pump, how a submersible pumps work, how to design the capacity of the submersible pump, how the electrical panel should be working, how the automation should be carried out, how the electronics should work, how the communications, how the various software tools can be used to design, and then how my product should be popularized using social media. So you must know the basics of these things. Of course, you can hire those experts and get things done, but you should must have some basic knowledge. Then only your importance will increase. Work experience is very important. Nobody likes to hire freshers. So whenever you are doing BTech, you opt for hardcore experience, even if you get less. So that hardcore experience, you get more experience. You work for smaller companies. When you work for bigger companies, you get higher salary, but your work exposure is limited. You can also go for various certifications while you are doing BTech programs. For example, AutoCAD. There are various tools, software tools available for designing effluent treatment plants, water treatment plants. You can get small 2 months, 3 months certification. So your job prospects will increase. Teamwork, project work. You should work in a project with a team of 3 4 students. That is the most important thing in corporate sector. You alone cannot do anything. You have to work. So whether you can get along with your team, that is the most important thing the corporates will see before hiring you. And you should be aware about the ground realities. No, I have seen many students who say that, okay, you offer me jobs only in the western suburbs of Mumbai. You offer job only in the southern Bombay. So that type of attitude will not do with corporates. You should go and see local trains. You should able to travel that. You must realize what are the problems faced by common citizens. And then responsibility positions. In IITs also, many of you get opportunity uh, to organize the things, organize tech fairs. So you should participate, and not only should focus on your academics, but get this crucial experience about organizing the things. Then management skills are also very important. Your core technical knowledge, many engineers are so much obsessed about core technical knowledge, but that is one part of the story. You must be also equally well versed with finance, financial accounting, marketing, how to market your products, how to use social media to market your products. That is equally important. Otherwise, your corporation will not become viable. Soft skills, how you communicate with the people is very important. Your vocabulary should be good. You should be humility. People should feel that you should not, nobody likes arrogant people. You should have good attitude. Nowadays the word attitude is used in negative terms. This person has got attitude, so means nobody likes to interact with the person who has got attitude. But attitude is in positive way. People should have good attitude. They should be able to stress. accept stress. They should not get angry when the things are not going their way. So these soft skills are very, very important. And then knowledge of software tools, like air quality models are there. There is model like AirMod, which is used for predicting what will be the effect of a point source of air pollution. So if you have knowledge of how to use this model software tool, you will be in demand. Then design tools, as I told, for design of sewerage systems, water distribution networks. If you know that, that is added advantage. Interview skills, you should learn how to give the interviews. And publications, particularly MTech students, PhD students, publication in journals with high impact value is very important. So these skills you should have. So thank you, friends. And now the forum is open for question answer sessions. Thank you very much for patient listening.
So some questions have
Okay.
open and
Sure.
answer.
Sure. Okay.
So in
So
the
where I can
chat
see
box,
the uh,
uh, so in the taskbar handle,
chat in channel meeting
you
is
will.
only available to team members. It is not available to me, I think.
Okay, sir. So the can you read the questions at least, which are written there?
They will be visible in the chat only, I think, no?
No, sir. So it's okay. I will read them to you, and then you can
Yeah.
answer.
Yeah.
So Devan just asked that. So you had mentioned jobs in big multinationals like Pepsi, etc. What type of jobs are they?
Yeah, good question. So multinationals, for example, every multinational has got a separate section called as environment, health, and safety. So there are jobs in this sector. So ITC, for example, they want to write their sustainability report. So a person who is working in the sustainable department of ITC, he or she has to study all the operations of ITC and then quantify how much renewable energy ITC is using. They have to report, communicate that ITC is not doing any, water pollution, air pollution, etc. Then they can nowadays they can reduce the cost of water. Now industries, they have to spend huge amount on water. The rate at which water is charged to industry is very high. So they can you know recycle the water and increase the profitability of the corporates. So these are certain departments like sustainable department, environmental health safety department, communications. Nowadays customers also want to hire purchase products of those companies who are working nicely towards the environment. So that image building is also important. Like Amazon, they are going to become carbon neutral company. So who will help in becoming this carbon neutral company? Environmental engineers like you. So these are certain jobs which are available in the corporate sector. Compliance, environmental compliance. Next question, please. I hope he's satisfied with my answer.
Um, so Devansh, if you have any other doubts, you can raise your hand, and I will. You can unmute yourself after that.
Yeah, so thank you for answering my doubts, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Best luck.
So next question is by Nikhila. So she has asked that what is the scope of MSc students in core jobs and teaching sector? Is it possible for MSc in ESED to teach in universities and do research simultaneously?
Yeah, MSc. there are certain institutes which consider environmental engineering as a interdisciplinary field. For example, IIT Bombay also Center for Environmental Science and Engineering. So where environmental science and engineering is there, absolutely there is no problem for students with MSc degree to go for teaching positions. Even in US universities abroad, where it is considered as interdisciplinary field, there are some institutes where it is considered as a part of maybe civil engineering or environmental engineering as such. So in these institutes, the preference is given to those graduates who have their core degree in engineering, for example, civil engineering. So there may be some limitations, but they can always go for from MSc to MTech. For example, a Center for Environmental Science and Engineering, when it was there, the minimum eligibility was either MSc or B. So MSc person can become MTech, and then he's like any other environmental engineering person, or MTech and PhD. So then the prospects increase further after MSc if you go for MTech and PhD. So only when if you are opting only with MSc degree for teaching, but nowadays that is very rare because all big institutes they want at least PhD for a teaching job. So so that's what my answer, Nikhila. Thank you. I hope you are satisfied.
Yes, Nikhila, go on ahead if you want to.
Thank you for responding to my question, sir. Sir,
Okay.
I have another question. Like,
Okay.
after MSc, can we opt for PSUs? Like,
Yeah, it depends on the qualification requirements of a particular institute. For example, when I was in IIT, that time people from MTech could go for PhD, and so that particular institute, many other science colleges are there or pure universities are there. There absolutely there is no problem. For example, Mumbai University, MSc is the minimum qualification, MSc, and go for PhD. But PhD in engineering, environmental engineering, probably they will require after MSc you should go do MTech in environmental science and engineering and then go for PhD. But of course, those particular universities, there you should check. Thank you.
okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hello.
Thank
So,
you.
Akash, if you want to speak, you can speak. You have raised your hand.
Yeah, hi sir, good morning sir. This is
Good
Akash
morning.
here from MTech second year. Sir,
Yeah. Tell me.
I wanted to have your views on one thing. Like you mentioned, different MNCs where the environmental engineering students can go and work. So,
Yes.
as per my experience of having talking to the HRs and getting their views, so I want to ask you two questions. First is there any other approach like for the initial days when we will be having our degrees completed, our MTech degrees completed? So is there any other approach in the initial days to approach these PSU, these MNCs? And second is there any other path like moving forward toward some different sectors like if a company is having a water development, a water treatment plant or something like this, we should work for 1 or 2 years over there, and then only we can enter into these MNCs.
Yeah. So typically there are MNCs of different types. So MNCs in core sector, for example, as I told, the prospects increase when you have got more and more experience. Even if you are BTech from IIT, those MNCs like that, you should have some experience, and then only you can go there. So typically, you can take your internship assignments with one of these MNCs, and then they will prefer, or you can join some companies, other companies also. Not, it is not necessary that in the first shot itself you should join a big multinational company. Like in India, Indian companies are also there. ECC is there, Ion Exchange is there, Thermax is there. You take 1-2 years experience there, and then opt for, like as I told, many multinational companies are coming in India. Mott, for example, is there. Suez is there. So that is the answer to your second question. Your first question is, how to approach this big multinationals at the early stage. So you only has answered that question. These companies have got their HR departments, right? So many HR departments of many of these companies may not be knowing also that IIT Bombay has started a BTech program in environmental science and engineering department. So your batch, as you are one of the first batches, you have to take that trouble. Go to Suez, for example, go to Mott, go to Black and Wage, contact their HR officers, and tell them that, guys, we are also existing at BTech level. So some HR people may be happy that, okay, instead of MTech students, we can even hire BTech students, or even MTech students also they can hire. So that is the way forward. Contact their HR person and contact your training and placement officers, because industrial learning program also, your alumni resource center was in touch with me. Your department was not mentioned there also, environmental science and engineering department. So I told those guys ki, by this department is there, so you should include that department so that they should know that these internship positions are available. So I think you have to take that trouble to contact HR people from these multinationals. Thank you, Akash. I hope I answered your query, Akash.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay.
वैसे भेजोगे तो अच्छा लगेगा सर.
Um, so the next question is from Priyanshu.
Yes.
So he has asked, can you explain what do you mean by turnkey contracts?
Okay. Very good question. See, in any engineering job or environmental engineering job, the customer owner, for example, Municipal Corporation of Greater Mumbai wants to give the work of, say, sewage treatment plant, 250 MLD at Bandra. So what they can do is they can hire a consultant for the designing part. So like Tata Consulting Engineers is one of the consultants, or NZS is one of the Japanese consultant. So they will only design the part, and they will prepare the tender document, and then they will float that e-tender, and they will ask contractors should submit their tenders. Submitting tenders means they will tell, this job we will construct this sewage treatment plant in, say, 1,500 crore rupees. Okay. So who are the contractors? Like Ion Exchange is the contractor, ECC is the contractor. So they will fill the bid, and they will do the work of construction of sewage treatment plant as per the design given by the consultant. So consultant may be given, say, 10 crore, 20 crore, because his work is only to design. Whereas contractor will get a job of, say, 1,000 crore, 1,500 crore, because he is going to invest and actually construct that plant. So here there are two components. One is consultant, another is contract. Now turnkey means some customers will say design also should be done by one party, and execution contract should be done by the same party. So when these two functions are combined, it is called as turnkey jobs. So I will just say I need a 1,500 MLD STP at Bandra. This is my site. Tell whatever data you want. I directly will give you. You design and you only will construct. I only want that this effluent which goes out of that STP should have these standards as per NGT. That is your job. If you don't give, I will penalize you. So that is turnkey jobs. Designing as well as construction doing together. That is called as turnkey. Means चाबी घुमानी है आपको खाली. So that is turnkey. Okay. I hope Piyush I answered your question. Thank you.
Okay. So the next question is, by Sarthak Vyas. What should be the career path for a MTech student in core job?
Okay. So core jobs I already discussed. So there are many companies which are working in core jobs. So core jobs are also of two types. For example, if a person is more comfortable in science aspect of it, then maybe you can work for companies who are giving services in environmental impact assessment. For example, there is a company called as Ernst and Young. So EIAs. So there, so you are MSc, and then there are certain companies for whom sustainability reports are to be written. So these types of jobs MSc students can handle. Then another core jobs is like design of say water treatment plant. So 1000 mld. So I will design cascade aerator. What should be its size? I will design flash mixer. What should be the diameter? What should be the height? Mechanical equipment, paddle size, the motor, automation, electrical. Then sewage treatment plant like sequential batch reactor. How the secondary treatment should be designed. What should be the size of the aerator? What should be the size of the aeration tank, etc., etc. So then in core jobs also, as an environmental engineering, you are designing the hydraulic design, right? Then there is another design called as structural design. So because this water treatment plant should stand firm on ground, it should not collapse with the pressure of water, no. So for that, what should be the thickness of the wall of the aeration tank? What steel diameter you should insert? So that part is done by the structural engineer. So as an environmental engineer, you will do process design. So you can go and join L&T company, for example, ECC. They are designing water treatment plants. Black and Wedge. There are many companies or consultants like Tata Consulting Engineers. Then there is NJS. They are also designing the water treatment plants, sewage treatment plants, etc. So these are the core companies. Or you can join, say, Eureka Forbes and help them in modifying the design of their water purifiers. That is again a core job. Or again you become IAS and join Government of India Service IAS, and then work in the Department of Housing and Urban Affairs. Of course, there if you become IAS, not necessarily you will get that department, but there are some people who are IAS also and doing core jobs at a very top level decision making. So these are some of the options available in the core jobs. I hope I answered your question. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
Yes.
It was my question, sir. Sir, like you mentioned, it is necessary for everyone to have basic knowledge of financial accounting and all. And
Yeah.
if one joins a company at the initial level, he will be designing the different systems. But as it grows in his career or her career in the company, he will be becoming manager or at any point of time VP. So
Yes.
is it becomes kind of mandatory to have an MBA degree in later in the career?
Yeah, very good
Do you feel
question.
do you
Because
feel any point of time in your life to have MBA degree, sir?
yes, so because ultimately even engineering jobs become management jobs, because I am also running a small company, but I have to depend on many people, for my financial things, my other mechanical things, electrical things. So this MBA degrees definitely helps, but I will advise to have MBA degree after some experience, say 4 years experience, 5 years experience. Then you can appreciate the importance of MBA degree. And in some countries, MBA degrees minimum qualification is work experience of 5 years. So that is very important. And for leadership positions, this degree, MBA degree, is very important. And nowadays, as I told, big multinational and even in big Indian companies, there are pathways from which the person from environmental department can also become the leader of that company, CEO of that company. So in that case, it still becomes still more important to have MBA degree, because ultimately your enterprise should follow the taxes. You should know what is GST, what is balance sheet. If some other investors want to invest your company, your balance sheet should be good, so therefore technical knowledge becomes one part of your entire gamut of things. So you should also know HR, what are the rules, uh, how much provident fund your employees should get, how your employees should be happy, so that you can attract good quality employees. So marketing, so everything is important. So yes, MBA degree is very important after certain experience. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, I want to ask that is foreign has better scope than India for this field?
For environmental engineering, yes, I will say, because if you as I told you, the rules for environment are very strict in countries like Europe and US. So foreign countries, there is greater scope. So the best pathway will be after you do one degree program in countries like US, Europe, Japan, etc., and then take some experience there, and then take jobs there, because the compliance is very strict in countries like US. And many students of mine, by the way, they are working in US, and they are working in the environmental compliance field, and doing very nice. Of course, there is a there is struggle, of course. If you compare environmental field in comparison with IT and all that, in the initial stages, guys in IT and finance may be more comfortable salary wise and all that, but later on, as the experience goes, it matches. And later on, the guys in environmental core sector, they also do nicely.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Devansh has raised his hand. If you want to speak,
Yeah,
you
sir.
can.
So adding to Naman's question, sorry, sir. What type of company should we contact if you want to do internships, say in the United States or somewhere? Like if you want to gain experience or
Yeah, so it depends on your interest. For example, if that facility is available, because now US has become very restrictive, as you are aware about the foreign students, foreign employees, etc. But still, assuming that the facility of internship in US is available, then like air quality modeling is one area, which is like models like air mods are there. So those companies, you get this experience, that will be very nice. Another sector is green building sector. So it depends on your interest. If you are interested in air pollution, you go for companies who are working in air quality modeling field. If you are having a civil engineering background, or you are interested in hardcore engineering further, you go for green building section, or the companies who help writing sustainability reporting. Like there are companies like McKinsey, there are companies like Ernst and Young, who help corporates in their sustainability initiatives. Even companies like Infosys, for example, even companies like KPMG, for example, all these companies, apart from other corporate consultancy, they provide consultancy in environmental management and sustainability also. So depending upon your interest, you can select one of these companies. Thank you. And core companies are also there, like Black and Veatch is there, Suez is there. So if you are interested in, say, water treatment plants, sewage treatment plants, you can choose these companies. Hindustan Dow Oliver is there. Metcalf and Eddy is another good company.
and sir, I had another doubt, sir. Specialization in the sense, after, say, sir, all of the BTech, all of the undergraduates in our batch will be getting an MTech as well due to the dual degree program. So, sir, should we? So you had said specialization. So, sir, another MS or MTech degree would do, or we'll have to go into PhD after, if we say we want to get a job in the outside India.
Yeah, so that is again another good question, because I have this problem when I was doing ME at Vizitia. it was very difficult to get admission to PhD directly from MTech program in India. So there were many universities who were giving me admission to MS. So I thought that as a waste of time, because if already I am MTech, there is again no point in going for MS. So that is a problem. That is a issue of the students who are doing MTech. So if you are doing BTech and going for MS, there is no wastage or there is no loss of time. But yes, many students who are very keen to pursue their higher education in US, they don't mind going for MS after doing MTech. So many students are like that also. They go there and another they do another MS program. So I have heard very few cases who have got that admission from doing a post graduation program in India for PhD programs. There may be some exceptional cases, but they are very few. So you have to take call according to the pros and cons and according to your justification. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nandini has stated that environmental economics should be mandated in our course, in our field as a core course.
Yeah, environmental economics, yeah, is again a branch which is highly specialized branch, I will say, because very few organized, let's say like Reserve Bank of India, World Bank, United National Environmental Engineering Program, like foreign funding agencies, policy making. So therefore, any program comes into your curriculum when the scope is wider. So I'll feel that yes, it can be taught as an elective subject, but financial management, I'll say yes, because sometimes I find engineers are too much obsessed with core technical knowledge, and they're weak in financial knowledge, which is very important nowadays, like balance sheet, accounting, taxation, uh, you know, these and funding. So this nowadays for everything funds are necessary, and how the banks will look at your company. So that way, I feel rather than environmental economics, financial accounting and management should be taught as a core subject in environmental engineering programs, environmental science and engineering programs. Thank you.
I think we can take the last question that is there in the chat box right now. So, Ayushi Jaiswal has written, Sir, like you mentioned, MNC requires some experience, but to get experience, we need some company being MTech students, and many private environmental consultancies rejected the request done by company coordinators to come for the campus placement. Then what has to be done? How should we proceed to get entry into the industry?
Yeah, that is a very important question. Corporates prefer, all industries prefer experienced guys. Okay, so and environmental sector is also a little bit, core sector particularly is limited. So the best option is first to get experience in medium level companies, small level companies. They may not come to you for placements because they don't have any high scale requirements, no, like Amazon for example, their requirement is huge. So environmental concerns may have limited requirements, so they may not opt to go to institutes like IIT. So in this case, you have to apply to them, get jobs in medium level companies where you will get core experience, and with that core experience you will be appreciated by big corporates, because they don't want to train you from the beginning. They will rather hire the ready made, or even while doing BTech, if you do some excellent project and then you approach core people, or during internship, if they hire you for internship, or you are able to do some projects with them, with that probably you can generate some openings directly in the multinational companies. Thank you. Are you satisfied, Ayushi?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so with this we can wrap up the session. Thank you, sir,
Okay.
for such a great session. It was really informative, and I think everybody can now make a better decision than what they could have before.
Okay,
And
thank you.
they might have gained a lot of insights into what jobs are available after becoming an alumni from the institute.
Thank you. Thank you, Rushil,
Thank you
for
so much for your
inviting me,
time.
and I wish all of you best of luck. Don't worry at all. You all have bright career. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.